Well, hello and welcome to session 16 of Overcoming Obstacles. We've really had a good time together. Hopefully, over the last 16 weeks, you feel that way. And if you've hung in with us for the entire time, man, kudos to you. It's awesome that you've stayed in and made every program. We've got four more to go after this one, and we'll be wrapping up Overcoming Obstacles. So, on the live timeline here, I don't know if you're watching a recording or not, but if you're live with us, we're going to be wrapping this thing up here the end of November, 1st of December, and we got another really great program wrapping up the year to help get you going strong into the next year. But whatever quarter you're working in, and whatever real time you're in when you're seeing this, just take it in stride with your current goals and where you are, because that's the whole purpose of the program. We're going to have obstacles. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when, and we just want to be sure that you're prepared. All right. And at any time, if you need my help, just hop up to either Don at a2bforme.com or a2bforme.info/15 with Don, and we can set up a free one-on-one strategy session with you to help you get through this program and any others that we have available to you. All right. Well, let's get me out of the way so that we can get you full screen here. And we'll get started. Session 16 really is all about persistence paying off. And that's what this module is all about, is persistence and hanging in there. But in this one, we're going to be talking about learning to finish what you start. Now, the little guy in the picture there, talk about build a better mousetrap. He said, well, that's fine. I got equipment, right? So he's ready. He's not going to give up. He sees the cheese. He's going after it. He's got his equipment on and he is ready to roll. So probably won't find that little guy in the trap in the morning. You'll find your cheese is gone. But anyway, let's get rolling. With persistence pays off, learning to finish what you start. All right. Well, let's talk about the last session. We talked, about grit and how that with grit you can pretty much, handle any goal. And grit, of course, is also known as persistence. But today we're going to talk about, and I promised you last session, we'll be talking about my top 10 strategies for helping you finish tasks or projects. And a lot of times you kind of get the knowledge base, and you're like, yeah, but dadgum, can you just give me some direct strategy? So a lot of times I'm going to put together these top 10 lists for you to try and give you a little more direction to get out there and handle these issues that you're coming across. All right. Well, the big thing is when it comes to completing a job, a task, or a project, have you ever choked under pressure? And, and wondered, if you would ever finish, right? A lot of times you get in these situations and and most of the time, not maybe, but most of the time, they were not planned out properly. It was kind of a 1, 2 fire and then three. So you went too soon. You didn't get it planned out. You didn't get the subconscious fully on board yet. But if this happened to you, you might have ended up feeling guilty or profoundly disappointed in your own abilities, and a lot of times embarrassed because if you've told people about what you're going to do, or people watching you or depending on you, and you just cave under pressure, then it's tough on you because it can really affect you. And again, the subconscious is recording this, and so it's going to remind you in the future that you did fail pretty miserably, and that's where the guilty feelings and the feelings of disappointment are coming from. But even though your desire for an end result is high, the difficulty level or time required to complete the task could make you want to give up. So a lot of times you got desire and you got your why out there, but you've just chosen something where the level of difficulty is just tough. And I tell you what, and that's why we want to. That's a good thing about coaching and mentoring, is we can help you get through these and say, okay, how can we really get this thing going so that you're not under pressure so much, because having that pressure relief valve is key to keeping things rolling. So let's take a look at a few things here, because first of all, we got to kind of gauge where you stand when it comes to persevering until a job is complete. Uh, how can you persist when you're challenged in meeting your goals? So you have to take a gauge of where do you stand on this. And if you struggle to complete what you start, we got some strategies for you. So a lot of times it does depend on the particular goal area. There's a lot of goal areas that we have in life that come more naturally to us. When we talk about success at AW for me, you gotta always remember that those S's aren't all dollar signs. There are other things in success, and there's your relationships, and there's social, there's mental, there's physical, there's spiritual. Of course, you got your career, your financial, which I see them as separate entities. And then physical. So there's some of the area you may not struggle as much because you got natural talent in those areas. But let's look at how to get through the ones where you are struggling. The first one is we talked about this kind of before. You got to visualize the expected result. Napoleon Hill, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And so that's one of the reasons why in our strategy, its thoughts are really the core foundation, because you got to get your thoughts right, and you got to get the mindset right and get the subconscious on board. But if you can constantly remind yourself how great you'll feel when you're done, it's going to make all the difference in the world. And we do this again through affirmations. We do it in our goals, in our journal. Every morning we're reviewing these things. But you want to make a note of all the benefits you're going to receive. And that's why when we're doing our goals and our dream sessions at AW for me, we really utilize the Phoenix Journal, because we can go in and we can really define these things. And not only do you really want to visualize the expected result, but a lot of times what I really hone in on is the future that I fear, because fear is a huge motivator. And so I always have a paragraph in my journal about the future that I fear. So what do I not want to happen in my life? And a lot of people, well, you don't want to think about that negative stuff. Well, I'm telling you, fear is a huge motivator. And I tell you what, when you're in there, it's great to keep reminding yourself really on a daily basis why you're in the battle. And so when you think about benefits, a lot of the benefits are the things that you don't want to happen. So don't just make this unicorns and rainbows. I want you to think about the things that you don't want to end up happening in your life. But you got to visualize that expected result. And we do that through vision boards and all types of things, but mainly affirmations and just reviewing our goals on a daily basis. All right. Now, number two, consistency. You've got to be consistent. That really, we'll talk about that a little bit later. It's the key to success. And sometimes it feels like you'll just never get there. And when you feel that way, you got to remind yourself that you just have to simply keep on keeping on. Back in the day, we had the keep on trucking thing. Back when it's kind of letting my age out here, but just got to keep on keeping on. And if you stay with working consistently toward your goal, chances are good that you'll accomplish it. It's just, if you just keep on hacking after it. I mean, if you the story of water through a stone. If the water just keeps dripping and dripping and dripping and dripping and dripping, it's going to wear a hole through that stone and wear that stone down. It's just consistency over time. And that really is the core. When we call something a strategy, STRATA, a Strata-G, it's because of that foundation. Those foundations are laid over time, and it's just consistent, persistent effort will get you there. So consistency is just a huge key. Progress. Notice what you've done so far. There's a ticker there. You gotta sit back and when you see some of the fruit of your labors, you'll get another burst of motivation to keep on going. So it's important. That's why we do weekly accountability meetings. We want to go back and we want to review, what we did last week, and let's give ourselves props and give ourselves credit for what we did. And at the end of our 4-week goal sessions, we want to have some type of a mini reward there. And then at the 8-week and then at the 12-week, you want a reward for the things that you did. I mean, maybe you just completed 10% of the project last week, but take that just out, right? Because that's 10% less that you have to do to finish. So give yourself credit for these things. Let your subconscious know, hey, we were here, now we're here. So we're making progress. And when you see these things, it's just going to give you motivation to keep rolling. So it's very important for you to have these weekly accountability meetings, either with your coach, mentor, or with yourself. And don't get hung up on that word accountability. A lot of people do, but all accountability is just making sure that that we're doing the things that we need to do to become successful. They're not supposed to be beat up sessions. They're not supposed to be here to tear you down and criticize you. It's just accountability. You said you're going to do this. We did this. So if you did this, great. If you didn't, what happened? But we always want to have our daily successes, have our daily gratitudes, and notice those things, and that will give you motivation to keep rolling through the project. All right. You want to have, again, acute awareness of what you've already completed as well as what you have left to do. So you got you got to pay attention. You can't just sit here and rest on your laurels. You got to say, oh well, I got 10% done. I got 9% left to do. So be sure that you're acutely aware of what's left to do on the project in your accountability. Number 4, maintain a positive outlook. You got to think positive, you got to do positive, you got to be positive, and just keep that in your repertoire. And again, you want to surround yourself with people that can support this positivity. But whenever you stay focused on the positive, it just makes it easier to continue plodding forward. It just does. When you take a look at it, we're all going to have, again, like I said before, it's not if, it's when you're going to have circumstances come up, but it's what you focus on and your attitude toward that circumstance. And if you look at that circumstance as just an opportunity for growth, and be positive about it, then you're going to be able to continue forward. But being positive is a choice, and you have to take advantage of it. When you hit that roadblock, you can zig, you can zag, or you can just turn around. And so stay positive and find a way around this, and let's get rolling. Again, if you need help, you need help. So don't be you don't get all hung up with your ego and your big bad self and your 7 foot tall and bulletproof image. You need help. You need help. Go get you some help, and let's figure this out. Let's get positive, and let's continue moving forward. Number 5, you got to have realistic expectations. Now, sometimes well, what's left and that stuff in your mind, it fits perfectly. That puzzle piece just fits right in there, and everything's fine. Sometimes, right? More than often, a lot of us, we have unrealistic expectations at some point in our life journey. If you didn't start playing the piano, for instance, at a young age and practice for several thousand hours already, then it's unlikely that you'll ever reach the level of world-class pianist. So if you're out there and you're saying, "Well, I'm in my my mid-40s and or middle-aged here, and I work all day, got the kids, I got this, that, and the other, got church activities, I got this, that, and other. I only got about 30 minutes a day to practice." Well, then we need to scale back that I'm going to be a world-class pianist goal. It's probably not going to happen. Now, I'm not saying you don't have prodigy maybe deep down in you, but and so there's always exceptions. But I'm telling you, if you're just a run-of-the-mill guy and gal, and you decide you're going to be a world-class pianist, it's going to be a challenge if you don't have the thousands of hours that you can apply to it. So you got to have realistic expectations, no matter what it is, and especially in your timelines. But it's admirable to strive for perfection. A lot of people, that's just what they go after. But you just have to be careful. You'll always quit if perfection is the only acceptable outcome. So you got to have realistic expectations for your situation. In a lot of cases, this is the problem. It's not the fact that the goal is too big. It's just you just want it to be perfect. And one of the hardest things for a lot of folks to get over is the fact that good is good enough. And so as you're going through here, you want to strive for progress, not perfection. So as we go through your accountability each week, let's just look for progress, and we'll look for areas that we can go back. We're going to do our reflect, plan, execute. We're going to go back and we're going to find the things that we did and how can we do them better. So it's a constant striving for progress. You may reach perfection, but Probably not. It's admirable again to want to be perfect, but don't let it hang you up. Let's just go for progress and get things rolling and get rid of these realistic expectations. Number 6, you want to avoid underestimating what it's going to take to finish. When you put together your plan and you get out there and you get your roll and you realize, oh my God, there's about a dozen puzzle pieces that I don't even have in the box. I just I didn't think I was going to need those. Well, if they're not even in the box, then you are not going to finish the puzzle. You got to figure out, you got to get a puzzle where you got all the pieces, right? So we've all had that experience of thinking we know how long it's going to, take to complete this task. And then we find out that it takes a lot longer. Happens to me all the time. I'm going to power wash the house, right? I'll get that done this afternoon. Well, that was Friday afternoon. Sunday night, I'm still wrapping it up, right? You got to have, again, realistic expectations on time. And so, but if you got to make a ballpark, then you got to guess how much time you'll need. It's just better to overestimate it, because if you finish sooner, well, that's better, right? Nobody wants to just drag something out and just feel like, oh my God, I estimated this and took this, and oh my God, I'll never get this thing finished. But if you get out there and you say, hey, look, it's going to take the entire weekend to get this done, and you get wrapped up early, then it's, hey man, this is awesome. I can do other things now. So always avoid underestimating what it's going to take to finish. In other words, don't get pie in the sky expectations on how great things are going to go. There's always issues that are going to happen. So it happens all the time. Anytime I pick up a power tool, it happens with me. Something happens, and I know that there's things that you gotta prepare for, and it just depends on how many trips you want to make to the hardware store to get things finished. But anyway, whatever goal it is, be sure that you need to avoid underestimating what it's going to take to finish. And otherwise, just make a great plan. Get your strategy set out there and look for all the ups and the downs and the pitfalls and the zigs and the zags that could happen. 7, you want to make a personal vow to finish what you started. Um, it's a contract. I promise. And you got to promise yourself, make a contract with yourself that I'm going to finish this. I started it and doggone it, I'm going to finish it. And staying conscious of what you want to do and why you want to do it, and then vowing to finish will serve as a motivation to help you keep your nose to the grindstone. So it's that what, it's that why you want this. And just, if you need to make yourself a contract, make yourself a contract. I know it sounds silly, but I tell you what, writing things out and signing things, it really works. Every new journal that I put together, in the Phoenix Journal at the front, there's a vow, and I have to sign that vow to say I'm going to utilize my time properly. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it helps keep you rolling. And you want to review that contract every single day or every single week and let you know why you're continually doing this thing. But promise yourself that you're going to persist until you prevail. And then once you promise yourself, do it. Just honor the contract to yourself. So I know it sounds a little silly. A lot of you out there, I'm not going to sit there and write down a contract myself. But if you will, I'm telling you what, it makes it subconsciously, it's going to make a huge difference for you. So promise yourself that you're persistent to prevail. Read over that contract, let you know what you got to do, and then do it. It'll work for you. It's another tactic that you can put in your toolbox, but make this happen for you. Number 8, recognize when you must tweak your results. The graphic here, see, there's like 8 different ways to spell tweak. Different fonts, this, that, and the other. But there are going to be times when you wish you slightly alter your end goal, right? I mean, it happened a lot in 2020. A lot of folks who had the COVID thing come in here. And that's when 12-week year really paid off for a lot of folks that are in the group, because all of their annual goals, they would have been crushed. They would have had to really go back and say, man, how am I going to make this happen? But by having 12-week goals, we were able to make alterations really quick and work on the fly and get things, back on track mentally. I get to keep the subconscious on board so we could keep reaching our goals. So there may be times when you wish to slightly alter, then go. And after all, I mean, situations and people change. So you may be in a situation where you've been working with a particular person at a company, if you're in the sales business, and all of a sudden that you had all these things that were going to do that were promised verbally, and all of a sudden that person left, and now you got to start all over. So now your goals are set back a little bit. So again, there are situations, there are people, things change, but recognize that every now and then you got to tweak it. It doesn't mean the end of the world. It just means that we've got to change direction and get this thing set up in a different way. So don't be afraid to tweak. It's not a negative thing. It's a positive thing because you're just light on your feet and proving to yourself that you're going to get there one way or the other. Particularly on a long-term project, you just have to stay focused, and because you got to identify when it's time to make an alteration. If you got a huge long-term goal, it could be several 12-week terms. Then you just have to stay focused on to what's happening. And again, that's what accountability, and that's what our weekly accountability and our monthly and our 12-week sessions are about. Is we have to take a look at these goals and stay focused and say, when it may be time to make an alteration. And if you want to, if what you want has changed, that's okay. I mean, a lot of times our goals change. That happens often. That's why every year we want to go back and look at our why, look at our purpose driven life. What do we want to do? What's our legacy? You want to revisit all our goals. We got to tweak them if we need to, and just keep moving forward. A lot of times, when you first get started out in goal setting, you don't really. It's like anything else. You never done it before. You don't really know what you're doing. But you got to give it a shot. You got to get started, and then you get out there and realize, wow, me getting 1,000 contacts in my database here in 30 days. That was a pretty high goal. I didn't know, right? That's another reason why having a coach or a mentor is a good thing, because you've got some experience there, not only their personal experience, but the experience of the people that they've worked with as well. But you have to revisit that goal. You may need to tweak it, but just keep moving forward. I go back and look at my journals and go, yeah, that was interesting back then when you thought you could do that. So it's not a matter of putting yourself down. It's just saying, hey, that was an expectation that I just couldn't make. So don't be afraid to retweak, tweak these goals and just get them rolling and just get going again. Number 9, we've talked about this before in some of the sessions, but consider setting mini goals. I'm not telling you not to have stretch goals, but if they're so stretchy that you can't even reach the first rung of that ladder, then what are you going to do, right? I mean, you might be able to jump up and get that first rung. How are you going to get to that damn second rung, right? So have some more rungs in there. Help get you going and get things going. So if you need some extra motivation along the way, you might benefit from setting interim goals that you can easily accomplish. So it's a lot easier just to take a step and then take another step and take another step and just keep on going. And where you might have been still down there trying to get on that first rung of that ladder, now all of a sudden with all the mini goals, you far exceeded that expectation. You've almost reached your goal. So consider setting mini goals. It feels good to see what you're achieving in these mini goals. So in other words, sometimes just hitting the target. I worked with scouts a lot in my career. 17 years I was scout leader, and we had a lot of day camps, a lot of summer camps, and kids out there. And the first time they'd ever done a bow and arrow or a BB gun or something like that. And so the first goal was just to hit the target. Didn't care where they hit it, just hit the daggone target, right? And then as you hit the target, then we can adjust and we can get closer to the center. So that's what those incremental goals are all about. Just hit the target and then work yourself towards the center, which is your long-term goal. And the momentum that you're going to get is going to be remarkable. I mean, your endorphins are going to pick up, your excitement's going to pick up, your motivation is going to pick up because you can see yourself making progress. And a lot of people, it's like when you're losing weight. So let's look at that. I'm reading an excellent book right now called called the obesity code, and I tell you what, it really is amazing when you get in there and really study this stuff. But and I've been around health and fitness all my life, and but uh, well, in today's world, it does happen. I mean, we get into a situation where all of a sudden things just have gotten out of control. So you need to lose 50 pounds. Well, when you face that fact, it's kind of overwhelming. And you feel like there's no damn way I can only lose 50 pounds. And so it's just difficult to get started because you're looking at this, man. I mean, that might be a fourth of you or a third of you, right? But what if you were to set a goal to just lose 5 pounds? Well, that sounds reasonable. So that's really what you need to do. Let's just take a look at losing 5 pounds, and chances are pretty good you're going to be successful. And so you get on that scale, and all of a sudden you lost 5 pounds. Well, everybody's happy, and you can rejoice in that moment, and then you can set another mini goal to lose another 5 pounds. And so you do that how many times? 10 times? And you're there, right? So just take it easy, set yourself many goals, and keep the momentum going, and ensure that you continue forward to the end of the task. Now, a lot of times it's not weight, it's body fat, or it's just how the clothes feel. It's just how you feel. But as you get into these, and when we get into the physical goals, that's really what we talk about in our accountability sessions. Is well, what are the other parameters here, and what do we need to do? But the point here is just to make mini goals to help get you there. Number 10, we just need to get better at finishing the small tasks in our lives. Small things are recorded. The subconscious is here saying, listen, dude, you can't even get all the dishes done, right? You're washing the dishes and you avoid the greasy ones in that disgusting pan until the morning. Now, if you can't even wash the dishes and get them all ready, what the hell makes you think you're going to be CEO of that company, right? And that's the subconscious talking to you. So if you're washing dishes, avoid leaving the greasy, disgusting pan until morning. Just get it done. Finish it. You're in there. You got the water running. It's already hot. You got the soapy hands. It's time. Just get it done. Finish it up. How about folding all the clothes rather than leaving some for later? You're already folding the damn things. Just finish it. Finish the job. Get them all done. And you don't have to worry about it anymore. Clean the entire room. A lot of folks, you get out there, you just kind of do some of it. Well, what the heck's that going to do, right? Clean the entire room, pay all the bills. When you're going to sit down and do it, just pay them all. Don't leave anything hanging, because what ends up is it's in your subconscious mind. You're going to go to bed, you're going to try and sleep, and all of a sudden you think about these other things you need to get done. Just pay them all. If you're out running, just go ahead and run the full 3 miles you planned on running. You got your shoes on, you got your running clothes on, you're out there. Just go ahead and get it done. Just finish it up. I mean, if you got to slow down, if you got to walk a little bit, but whatever it is, just whatever you plan on doing, finish it. So all these small tasks that you got in your life, just finish them. Put them in your planner and get them done. Now, if they're not, super important, if they're not things that have to be done, don't beat yourself up over them. But once you start something, just finish it. So finishing is nothing more than a habit. And we've got the habit tracker in there in the Phoenix Journal. If you don't have a habit tracker, you should have a habit tracker. And say, look, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this many times a day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this thing finished, get this project finished. Maybe you need a project map. There's a project map in the back of the Phoenix Planner. So just maybe you need a project map to help get you through the different stages and the mini goals to finish that project. But you got to get in the habit of finishing all of your tasks. And you want to circle now, not tomorrow, not later, not next year, not next week, not someday. Don't be on someday aisle the rest of your life. Finishing is a habit, and get in the habit of finishing all of your tasks. Being persistent can be challenged, but it's well worth conquering. Like I said before, consistency is really the key to success. It's what's going to turn that lock and open that door and get you on to bigger and better things. So be consistent and take note of what you've done so far. So again, Go back and review what you've done, your past accomplishments, what's your progress to goal, what key actions have you done, what key productive indicators have you knocked out, and stay as positive as you can and avoid underestimating the time it will take for the job completion. So again, if we go through here and we can look at these things. We can pretty much tell you, hey, well, I had another client who did this, and this is where it happened. This is where the things went wrong or went awry. So we want to take a look at that. We want to be sure you got that planned out. And it sometimes just takes a second or third person to help you figure these things out. Sometimes it's just you and a pen and a paper. Just do a Ben Franklin close or do some strategies on different ways you can get there. But stay as positive as you can, but try to avoid underestimating the time it's going to take, because the more times that you fail at these things, the more you're going to start really underestimating yourself and your abilities. So you want to be sure that you get these things as close as you can as far as getting your goals completed. And persistence. You got a vow to finish. You get that contract to yourself. Just try it. Just write it out, get it done, and stay aware of what you're doing so you can adjust your goal if you need to. Again. Finally, you want to consider setting those mini goals we talked about, because you want to persist until you finish the task. So just knock them out 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. And it'll keep you positive. It'll keep you happy. It'll keep the subconscious off your back, and you can get this thing rolling. I'm telling you, persistence will pay off. That's the bottom line. Be persistent. All right. Well, what's up next? Well, if you tend to quit a project or task when you feel challenged by it, you're going to love the next session. So that's what session 17 is all about, because you're going to learn some techniques you can use to determine if you should quit or if forging on will work better for you. Now, there are times in our counseling and in our sessions where we got to say, hey, look, we're down to where the rubber meets the road, dude. And it's over. I mean, it was a great quest. It was one of these things where he thought you could do it, but it's all done for now. You might be able to pick it up later. You're out of resources now. You tried everything you can try, and it's just not going to happen. Or we can say, well, let's take this and let's look over here and let's try this and let's forge on. So we got to know what's working better for you. And the only way you're going to know that is to go through some techniques that I'll provide for you to help you figure that out. But before we get to all that, we got some to-dos. We always do. So here's what I want you to do today, or need you to do today, or this week. What project or goal have you started on but are having challenges with finishing? So write that down. What project or goal, and you probably don't even have to write it down. It's probably right on the top of your head and the tip of your tongue. But what's that project that you started that you're having challenges finishing? Then use some of the tips in this lesson to finish that project. So go back and look at all 10 steps and say, okay, here's this challenge. Let's look at number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and start applying the ones that you can to this project. Now, if it's a long one, like we talked about, you probably want to divide it into mini goals and complete, and just go out and complete one of your incremental goals this week. So look at it, look at all 10 things and figure out what you can apply to help you get through this particular project. Now, we've got an affirmation for you this week. I'm going to go through, and again, on these affirmations, what I really suggest that you do is to go back and maybe record this or record it for yourself, write it down, or just reach out to me. If you're not in the group, if you're in our group, it's in the resources section. If you're not in the group, reach out to me. I can send you a PDF of it. But this one is, each project I start is worth the effort to complete. Each project now I'm a part of benefits from my dedication. I make the effort to complete the things that I lend my talents to. Studies are sometimes challenging, but very rewarding. When I feel like giving up, I remind myself of the end result. Keeping the goal in mind helps me to keep pushing. When I spend money to educate myself, it is important to get full value. I know that bettering myself results in greater opportunities presenting themselves, and the chance to develop keeps me focused on getting good grades. I take the same approach to projects at work. Even though I work to earn a salary, I also work to prove my dedication. I like when my employer knows that I'm reliable. Starting a journey that I follow through to completion is a learning experience. Seeing things to the end helps me to acquire resilience and perseverance. Those traits take me through some of life's biggest challenges. Completion of challenges gives me a sense of accomplishment. Being victorious gives me the confidence to go after scary goals. I'm ready to push through to the end. Today, I celebrate the fact that I am committed and I am a committed individual. I'm happy that my dedication shines through in each venture I set my sights on tackling, and my path remains promising because my positive attributes help me to be successful. Okay, and here's a couple of self-reflection questions based on this information for you. Number one, what impact does planning have on my ability to successfully tackle a project? And number two, how does a changed goal affect my dedication to completing a task? So think about those this week, and if you're in our weekly accountability meetings with me, let's go through these two questions and let's get these answered. But again, what impact does planning have on my ability to successfully tackle a project, and how does a changed goal affect my dedication to completing a task? All right, well, that is that, and let's get on through to the next thing here, which is thanking you for attending. And I want you to have an awesome week as always. Keep moving in the direction of your dreams. If you need to schedule a one-on-one strategy session or like to, again, I do a complimentary one for you. Just go to a2bforme.info/15 with Don, and we can get that set up. You'll come to my calendar section, pick a time, and then you'll be sent 4 questions that you need to be prepared to discuss with me, and that'll be our core strategy for the goal for the session, and then we can decide what we want to do from there. All right, and if you need to go back and check out this session or any of the previous sessions or future sessions, just hop up on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to that channel, A to B for me, and so you won't miss anything. You can go up to Anchor FM, subscribe to that channel. We'll come out and podcast for you so you can listen to it on the road while you're jogging or doing your yard or whatever it is. And of course, we're always on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so hop up there and check out those as well. All right, well, now I'm going to hop back in here real quick with you and say goodbye and wish you all the best this week. I know in real time we're in the last week of October, which is it's crunch time. It's time to get it going because you've only got a few days left. So keep rolling, keep things going. We have tomorrow on Thursday, we have Thrive Thursday. It's going to be one that really goes right hand in hand with a lot of what we talked about today. So be sure and reach out to me on any of our channels for that. Again, every Thursday I do Thrive Thursday with James Clear of Atomic Habits, and we've got some different things to review and help you get some things going through the rest of your week. So, all right, well, that's it for today.